Hey, what's up, y'all? Back at you with another video. Midwest Podcast. It's a Midwest theme podcast. Go ahead and like and subscribe. This is another campfire story from Chris from the Lou. Okay, so this story, I was still living in Chicago. Uh, I graduated from high school in Chicago, but I am originally from St. Louis. Back in St. Louis right now. That's why it's called the Midwest Podcast, Midwest Theme Podcast. And my Lady V, is from Chicago. So this is another campfire story back when I was living in Chicago. All right, so I used to work at the Castle, and I'm gonna say the Castle, but you know what that is. It's a restaurant, and I used to date a couple girls that I worked with there or mess around with, whatever. And so when you worked at the Castle, these are the way it was set up. The Castle, it was an old setup. They don't have them like this anymore. But the Castle had a basement to it, and people would actually there was like where they would train you. There was a set up TV set up down there. The uniforms was down there. They had a washing machine and dryer down there. And so people actually would there's some people that actually worked there that would actually bring their laundry. They bring their laundry to work and actually be doing their laundry while they at work because it was free basically. While you on your shift, you just come in there and do your laundry. So people actually would do that. Um, and then there was times that if you saw somebody missing or whatever that was on the shift or whatever, hey, people got it in down there too in the basement. I mean, there's a whole separate, like two different rooms. There's like actual once you go down in the basement, you actually could sit in there like a break room or slash training room. But then there was another separate room too where it had like office and materials and like uniforms and stuff like that. So it was like two different rooms down in the basement, and that's how it was set up. And people would actually like, what I'm saying, get it in down there. And it was this girl I was dating. I met her. Crazy story how I met her. I met her through the homie that I was kicking with from the first video. He knew her or her knew her family or friend or whatever. So they lived a little bit further down from where I lived. I used to live in LaGrange, Illinois. And so we would, LaGrange, Illinois, North Riverside, Maywood, Bellwood, if you're from the Chicago area, those are my stomping grounds. Countryside, Illinois, and she lived in Justice, Illinois, which is just a little bit further down, LaGrange Road, 55 Highway. And so I was kicking it with him and his peoples and his boys that he was cool with, because I don't know, I just never hung out. I didn't hang out with a whole lot of people from high school. I mean, there was a couple people I did kick it with or was cool with, but when we graduated, like everybody separated. Like people started going to school. So, and I didn't go to college. I didn't go out of state to college. I did go to a community college for a year. But so I would kick it with him. He was like my new friend that I would kick it with. But like he put me on to, like, what I'm saying, drinking and smoking and kicking it like that. That's how I didn't. Before that, I didn't smoke, didn't drink. I'm still 18, going into 19 years old. So I met this young lady, messing with him down in Justice, Illinois. Kicking it with her, got to know her, and she had a child. She had a 1-year-old, and we ended up dating for a few months. But how I first met her is actually like she needed a ride back up the way where I live towards the way I live to LaGrange or Countryside. And so we out there kicking it, whatever. I'm kicking it with his homies or whatever. And she came out or whatever and was like, I need a ride. I need a ride. And these Negroes, nobody had a car. So I'm the only one that had a car. It seemed like anyway. So he was like, hey, yo, Chris give you a ride. He live up that way. He'll give you a ride or whatever. I'm like, you just, dude, you just volunteered me and shit. I was about to leave out anyway, so I just went on ahead and took her up there, took her to where she needed to go. And then, ironically enough, like a couple days later, she came into the castle to fill out application. And so I'm like, all right, cool. And she was cute. She was bad. She a little bit taller than me. She was like 5'9", had the model type build, pretty eyes. And so she ended up working the night shift. And I would work there since I was 16. So 16 to like 19. So I used to work all the shifts. I worked the morning shift. I worked the mid shift. I worked the night shift. And so we would I eventually, you know what I'm saying, a couple women I started talking to or whatever. I came from the job. I think a lot of people, end up talking to people that they work with, because that's who you associate with a lot. So me and her end up kicking it or whatever, right? And I remember the situation was that man, we used to go all over the place. We used to go to movies together and stuff. And this was when Baby Fat was popular. Baby Fat, she loves some Baby Fat. So I used to buy her like Baby Fat stuff and Baby Fat coat or whatever. And just she was my girl for a while. But we had one time that she was coming in for the late shift and I was about to get off, and she had bought these boy shorts. And she's like, I just bought these boy shirts. I want to show you these boy shorts. And I'm like, oh, okay. I see what you're talking about. Okay. And so she went down to the basement. And so she showed me them boy shorts and a little something else. You know what I'm saying? So that's a story. These some stories from the castle, working there at the castle. And that situation happened. And then what happened with her is that we end up hanging out, and her baby daddy went to school, but something happened to him that he ended up coming back. He was like a basketball player or something, because he was tall. He was like 6 foot tall, and I didn't realize that basically I was like a placeholder, because she ended up getting back with her baby daddy, or tried to work that out or whatever, or they was messing around or whatever. And I remember going to her crib to come pick her up because we were supposed to go out, whatever. And she answered the door like half naked. And I'm like, what's going on? Why you ain't dressed or whatever? She's like, well, I got some things going on. I can't go, whatever. Woo. And this is like my second break. And then I'm like, you got somebody. Her mama wasn't there, and her sisters wasn't there. I'm like, you got somebody there. Who in there with you? And it ended up being dude. So I'm like, dang, I'm mad. I'm heated, but I ain't gonna fight because, man, I ain't trying to get in all that. But it was like, it really hit me like, dang, this messed up. And then I remember another time, but I took her back. We still ended up hanging out after that. Like I was mad for like a day, and then she called me, whatever. We still, I don't know. I just simping, I guess. But just young and brushed it off. But the second time that she messed up, we was working at the castle, and I had pulled up there. I don't know what I pulled up there for. I pulled up there. I can't even remember why. I wasn't actually working, and I think she was supposed to work. And she was in the parking lot with another nigga in another car. And I'm like, oh shit, I got all this stuff. I got like stuff like some of her clothes in my car from when we hang out or whatever, and like Pampers in her car. And I threw all that shit out. I threw all that shit out of my car. I'm like, oh, this is how it is. This is how it is. This is the last time, yo. It's the last time. I let that slide with your baby daddy, because that's your baby daddy, and you know what I'm saying. I care about you. I feel like I care about you, whatever. So this was the second time. I'm done. I'm done. And then what happened was with that, like a week later, not even a week later, a couple days later, she started blowing me up, blowing my phone up, and all this other stuff. But I was done. I was like, all right, cool. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Second time. First time, what's it called? First time, shame on me. Oh no, shame on you. Second time, shame on me. Done. Another campfire story for you. Holla at me, subscribe. Chris from the Lou. It's a Midwest Thing podcast. Got another one coming for you next time. Peace.